Let's talk about the elephant in every boardroom. Companies are pouring billions, literally billions of dollars into AI, automation, and these huge digital transformations. But here's the question that everyone's secretly asking. Is any of it actually working? Proving the value of these massive investments is, without a doubt, one of the toughest challenges for any leader today. So we're going to dive into how you can stop guessing and start measuring what truly matters.
And this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. Flying blind. Think about that. You're the pilot of a multi-billion-dollar machine, your company, and you're trying to navigate this massive change with no instruments, no dashboard, just gut feeling. That's not just risky, it's a recipe for disaster. No business can afford to fly like that.
If you're in one of these roles, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This question probably keeps you up at night. You've got the board breathing down your neck, you've got investors asking for results, and your own teams are looking to you for direction. You have to defend the budget, you have to keep the energy up, you have to show that this is all worth it. So how on earth do you do that?
Well, here's the secret. The solution isn't about getting more data, it's about getting the right data. Think of it like this. We're going to build you a strategic dashboard, a cockpit view for your entire transformation journey. And on that dashboard, we're going to place 5 absolutely critical key performance indicators, KPIs, that will give you the clarity and the control you need to really steer this ship.
Okay, first things first. Before we can see how fast this thing can go, we've got to pop the hood and check the engine. So these first 2 KPIs are all about measuring the internal health of your company, your core operations, and just as importantly, the people who are making all this change happen. Let's start building out that dashboard. Our first KPI is beautiful because it's so simple but so powerful. It's the Operational Efficiency Ratio, or OER. All it does is answer one basic question. Are we doing more with less? It cuts right through all the jargon and all the noise and gives you a hard number on your process improvement. It's a direct measure of tangible gains. And this is where the rubber meets the road, you know? The OER connects all that fancy new tech directly to money. It proves that you're not just buying cool toys. You're actually reducing costs and speeding things up. I mean, check this out. One logistics firm used this to track their progress. They cut their order processing time from 4 hours down to just 22 minutes while handling 3 times the volume. Now, that is a story you can take to any boardroom. So what should you be aiming for? Look, we're not talking about some tiny incremental change. For your core processes, the ones you're really focusing on automating, you should be shooting for a massive 20 to 40% improvement in efficiency within the first year. A number like that proves without a doubt that this whole thing is delivering real value and fast. Okay, let's talk about our second internal KPI. And honestly, this one might be the silent killer of big tech projects. It's the adoption rate. Because think about it. You can buy the most brilliant, most expensive AI system in the world, but if your team is still clinging to their old spreadsheets, you've just bought a very, very expensive digital paperweight. This metric is crucial because it tracks whether people are actually using the new tools. So what does a healthy adoption rate look like? You want to see that needle move, and move quickly. You should be aiming for about 40% of your team using the new systems within the first 2 months, and then pushing for over 90% within 6 months. These aren't just arbitrary numbers. They are the vital signs of your entire change management process. Now listen up, because this is an absolutely critical takeaway for any leader. When you see those adoption numbers lagging, what's the first instinct? Blame the tech, right? The new software is clunkier, it's not working. But the data is crystal clear. The problem is almost always human. It's a failure in training, in communication, in leadership. You have to tackle this head on, or your entire investment is at risk. Okay, so we've checked the engine and we've made sure people know how to drive the car. The engine is running smoothly, but now we gotta ask the big question. Is this powerful engine actually taking us somewhere worthwhile? These next 3 KPIs are all about the big picture, the real strategic impact on your bottom line, your business agility, and of course, your customers. This one right here, this is the metric your CFO and your investors care about the most. It answers the one question they all have: when do we get our money back? The transformation ROI timeline isn't some fuzzy estimate. It's a hard, concrete calculation that pinpoints the exact moment your program stops being a cost and starts making you money. And the great news is, you don't need a PhD in finance to figure this out. The logic is actually super straightforward. Step 1, add up every single cost, the tech, the training, all of it. Step 2, Figure out how much new value, either through savings or new revenue, you're generating each month. Then you just divide the total investment by your monthly gain, and boom, that's how many months it'll take to break even. So, what's a good number to aim for? What's the benchmark? Well, world-class transformation programs, they start paying for themselves in just 12 to 24 months. If your projection is stretching out past 3 years, that's a red flag. It might be time to take a hard look at your strategy and maybe adjust your priorities. In today's market, it's not the big that eat the small anymore. It's the fast that eat the slow. Speed is everything. And that's what our fourth KPI, the Decision Velocity Index, is all about. It measures how fast your organization can react, the time it takes to go from getting data to actually making a decision and acting on it. It is a direct measure of your company's agility. And when you get this right, the change is just night and day. Seriously, imagine going from a world where you wait weeks for a stale monthly report to one where you're making critical, strategic moves in just a matter of hours. That is what it truly means to be a modern, data-driven organization. All right, we've arrived at our fifth and final KPI. And it's a crucial one, because let's be honest, all of this internal work, all this efficiency, it doesn't matter one bit if the customer on the other end doesn't feel it. The Customer Experience Improvement Index makes sure your internal wins translate into real external value. A victory that your customer doesn't notice is not a complete victory at all. And the really smart thing about the CXII is that it isn't just one number. It's a composite score. It blends together a few key metrics, like Net Promoter Score, which tells you how loyal your customers are, along with things like how much effort they have to put in and how quickly you solve their problems. It gives you this rich, holistic view of what your customer is actually experiencing. So, you now have these 5 powerful dials on your new dashboard. Awesome. But here's the catch. A dashboard is completely useless if nobody's looking at it. The real goal here isn't just to track stuff. It's to build a true measurement framework. It's about turning this data collection into a core discipline that drives real accountability and real results. So how do you make it stick? Well, here's a simple 4-step recipe for success. First, you tie every single KPI to a specific project or work stream. Second, you assign a single executive owner to each metric, one person whose job depends on that number. Third, you review progress every single month, no exceptions. And fourth, and this is the most important part, you use this data to decide where the money goes next. That creates this amazing feedback loop of smart measurement and even smarter investment. Whew, okay, we have covered a ton of ground. So let's boil it all down into a quick, rapid-fire summary. We're going to tackle the most common questions that leaders have about these kinds of programs, so you walk away with clear answers. All right, let's hit them. Question 1. How soon should I actually see results? You should be looking for those early, exciting wins in about 60 to 90 days, with the full ROI landing in that 12 to 24-month window. Okay, next. Which KPI should I prioritize? If you're just starting out, focus on your internal engine, operational efficiency and adoption rate. And finally, what's the number one reason these things fail? It's almost always the human element, poor change management and low user adoption. And that brings us right back to where we started. Your company's transformation is already happening. It's not a question of if, but how. So the only real choice you have to make is this. Are you going to be a passenger, flying blind in the back and just hoping for a safe landing? Or are you going to be the pilot, up front with a clear dashboard, firmly at the controls, navigating with confidence? The choice is yours.